Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the Culture Controversial Podcast. Man, I'm your host, Simply Nichols 87, my co host, Ty H.
Good evening, good people. Good evening to you all.
And to all the new people out there that subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button as well. Also, man, enjoy the content, man, because we pumping this stuff out weekly now, man. So I'm definitely going to collaborate this all into like one catalog so you can see the season as well. Like if you didn't catch all of them, I put them all together in one playlist, so you'll catch from episode one or before every episode one, the interview with Ralph, and on till the end of the season or whatever. So I'm gonna keep that in there. Uno 848, what's going on, bro? But yeah, I definitely keep that in there so people know they can go back and watch them if they want to watch all of them together at the same time. Let's make a collective playlist. So with that said, let's get into tonight. Start with last week's victory. Anson win against Almar Bulldogs. As Fred Davis said, A versus A to see who is the better A. And as you know, the A down here prevailed in the fourth quarter with a nail biting game, 21-14. They did pull it out, moving the record to 3-1. Tell me, what did you see from this game? Tell me your thoughts, your honest opinions of everything that happened Friday.
I saw a team that was lackadaisical and didn't take its opponent seriously. That's what I saw. Early in the game, we got off to a good start. First play for scrimmage, defense intercepted the ball, went down the field, scored a touchdown, went on to take an early 13-0 lead. Then it seemed like we just became lackadaisical and didn't really look engaged. Defense making silly mistakes, getting silly penalties again and again and again. Offense was sloppy, very sloppy, getting a lot of untimely penalties, untimely turnovers, and ended up letting Albemarle back in the game, winning halftime, still up 13-7, receiving the ball in the second half. I thought uh, after halftime, we would come out sharp in the third quarter, but I was wrong about that. First play for scrimmage in the third quarter, the ball snapped above the QB's head, and that set the drive off schedule. Then had us behind in the down and distance. We ended up having to punt the ball. No, we didn't punt the ball away. We ended up with the interception. That drive ended in an interception.
Mm-hmm.
But defense, of course, still held out. Morrow got the ball back again. This time there was miscommunication again between the QB and the center, or the snap wasn't secured. Uh, it bounced right off QB's chest, and Albemarle recovered that ball. Defense bailed us out again. Defense, despite the mistakes they made, still kept Albemarle out of the end zone for a long time throughout the entire third quarter and the majority of the fourth quarter. But offense continued just to be sloppy. Then our starting running back, Tony Gainey, ended up getting nicked up a little while. But there was the positive came out of there is running back number 7, I believe his last name is May. He showed a lot of promise. That kid has some juice on him, and I think he needs to get some more carries. But it shows some spark there. But then we again stalled out in the red zone. We just couldn't finish drives, and eventually you continue to play around with an inferior football team. And like you've heard commentators say before, when you're playing an inferior opponent and you don't take them seriously, the longer that team hangs in the game and the longer that team keeps it close, the more and more they start to believe. And what happened in the fourth quarter, Albemarle started to believe. And then late in the fourth quarter, what about, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes or something like that left. I mean, Albemarle took a 14-13 lead.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, the defense was on the field the entire second half and ended up surrendering the lead to Albemarle. And we called a very fortunate bounce of the ball on the ensuing kickoff with maybe 2 to 3 minutes left. It was late in the game, late in the fourth quarter, late in the game. There was it appeared from the stands like the kickoff may have been fumbled. I believe this ball flew up in the air on the kickoff, and had
Yeah.
Albemarle recovered that, the game would have been over. Fortunately, we had a player on the special teams kickoff team who was heads up and secured that ball. and ran all the way down to the 25-yard line. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's the son of one of our viewers, our good friend Lee, who's a viewer of the show. I believe that was his son who made the heads-up play on the kickoff return. Ended up getting the ball down to the 25-yard line. From that point, we gave him a good dose of Mr. Hickson, and we were able to get the touchdown and 2-point conversion. And defense held again, and we ended up winning the game 21-14. I'm hoping that there was a valuable lesson learned in this game, that you don't play with your food. If you have a team down for the count, you have to put them away. No matter who you're playing, no matter who's favored, no matter how much better you are than your opponent, you have to take your opponent seriously. You cannot be lackadaisical, and you cannot go out there and not take the game seriously. Now, at the end of the game, we were wondering why the team looked so sloppy.
Okay.
And remember, we talked to a gentleman who's on the coaching staff at the end of the game, and he told us that they weren't allowed to practice some days this last week due to heat. I'm not blaming the coaching staff because that wasn't on them. That was, they have the liability not on them. They have to follow instructions that are given to them. So, and I'm not talking about any individuals or anything, but they had to follow the instructions that were given to them.
Mr. Lee Lomax in the building.
Yeah, I think that was his son who saved the game, or at least who made a contributing play to saving the game.
Oh yeah.
But we were told that practice was minimal during the week, and it wasn't the coach's fault. It was the coaches weren't allowed to hold practice. I'm going to be the first to tell you that in the middle of September, if our coaches weren't allowed to hold practice, whoever made that decision, and I don't mind going on record saying if I insult somebody, then just be insulted because I have the right to speak. That made zero sense at all. I haven't heard anything about any other team at this point in the season not being able to practice as heat. Heat was not excessive. I mean, you practice during training camp, which was far hotter. You practice week 1, week 2, which was far hotter, and then you get into week 4 with relatively mild weather, and our kids went
rain a couple of days during that week. So I don't
right. And well, I shouldn't say heat. Did the gentleman say heat or did he say weather?
They said heat.
Because I don't want to put I don't want to put words in someone's. If he said weather, then the rain makes sense, but still you play games in the rain. But if the gentleman said heat, and I'm not knocking him, but whoever wouldn't allow them to practice, the person who handicapped our coaching staff and wouldn't allow a practice to be held, that's ridiculous logic. At this point, it seems like we're always getting sabotaged internally, and I have a problem with that. It seems like it's almost like there's a coalition of people who don't want this program to be successful, from people from Anson County, people within our own community seem like they want to go out the way to make this team fail. Seem like there may be people who want Coach Jackson to fail. And quite frankly, I find that disgusting. I'm not saying that whoever made this decision, I'm not saying that's the reason why they made the decision, but whatever the decision was, that was ridiculous. I feel like this Albemarle is about 29 miles north of Wadesboro. I didn't hear any talk about them not being able to practice, and the weather is virtually the same. We're in the same metro area. Both towns are within the Charlotte metropolitan area, so the weather is going to be similar to whatever the weather is around the surrounding Charlotte area.
Yep.
I didn't hear any talk of any other program in the Charlotte metropolitan area having to cancel practice due to heat in the middle of September. So
when it's cool enough.
Yeah, when it's actually cooler than it was in the previous weeks when they were presumably allowed to practice. So At this point, of course, I think that had an impact on the performance, because you're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-olds. You're talking about a team with only roughly 6 seniors, and you have multiple sophomores starting on this team. So you're talking about guys who are young, as far as young for varsity. So, of course, with a young team, you definitely don't need unnecessary cancellations of practice. And I just found that ridiculous. I'm not blaming the coaches, because they can only do what they're instructed to do in that situation. But I'm blaming the person whoever was delegated to give out the instruction for that. That's who I'm blaming. That's ridiculous. And it almost seems like you're trying to set your coach up for failure. And I have a problem with that. Nevertheless, that game, we still won the game. It's a valuable lesson. So the good thing, it's a lesson learned where you didn't have to sacrifice a victory. So a young team got to learn what happens when you play around, you play sloppy with an inferior opponent, what can happen. And but yet we still were able to come away with a victory and learn a lesson at the same time. So if you could take a positive twist out of that, I mean, that's what I can take out of it. Anytime you hold an opponent to 14 points, that's despite the sloppiness, despite the penalties, that's still a good defensive turnout when you hold your opponent to only 14 points. I don't care how many yards you gave up and all that. All that matters are the points that you give up. So the defense, again, as far as points given up, another solid turnout. We have Mount Pleasant coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
That's they're not an overly athletic team, but they're a team. They always play hard.
Yeah,
they're not great. They're never going to blow you away, and they're not a team that's going to win 10 games and win a state championship. No, they're not that. But they're always going to be a tough out, even when they're not having a good season. Which right now they're like 2-2 or something like that. But even when many times they're known for having mediocre seasons. But even in the games they lose, they're always a tough out. One thing about Mount Pleasant's a very physical football team. They got a lot of size on both sides of the lines, on the offensive line and defensive line. They got some big bread trucks, some big country boys.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing fancy they're gonna do. They're gonna line up.
Wishbone.
They're gonna run the ball right between the tackles.
That's it.
And they're gonna dare you to stop it.
That's all.
They want to limit your possessions, and they want to keep your defense on the field a long time. So in a game against Mount Pleasant, you cannot have turnovers, because you're already going to be limited in your possessions because they run a lot of clock and they limit your possessions. So when you get possessions against Mount Pleasant, you have to make the most of them. And when I say make the most of them, your possessions need to result in touchdowns because you're only going to get so many possessions.
Right.
So they like to hold the ball, have 8-minute drives, that type of thing. So
they're another version of a team I remember, South Point. That's what they kind of remind me of, but not
South Point had far superior athletes to Mount Pleasant, though. I want to make that. South Point had some athletes.
Yeah, but they
touchdown Joe Brown, so they had some athletes. South Point.
Yeah, they methodically they run. They just run. That's all they do. You're not gonna see nothing.
How about this? Anybody who watches college football, have you ever watched the Navy midshipmen or the Army Black Knights play, or the Air Force Falcons? They it's similar philosophy. They want to hold on to that ball.
Yep.
So that's the team where you don't want to get caught trailing against them, because if you get caught trailing, you can fall down a rabbit hole. Because let's say if you get down 10-0, now you're trying to play from behind. Now you're trying to press. Let's say you end up turning the ball over. Now they get the ball again. They run off another 8 minutes, even if they don't score, or run off another 8 minutes to kick a field goal.
You pretty much ain't got. I say with 12-minute quarters, if they run 8 minutes off, that's pretty much it.
Right. So even though they're not an explosive offensive team, but what they do, they limit your possessions and keep you off the field. So when you do get the ball, you have to make sure you're scoring touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I do think our defense is solid. Mount Pleasant traditionally runs like a wishbone / wing T. Now in 2020, during that COVID short season, they actually ran an option from spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was surprising to me. I don't know if they're still running spread, but nevertheless, they still had the same philosophy of wanting to hold on to the ball.
I think most of the games I've seen this year they've played, they've been back in that wishbone, so they ground and pound.
Okay, so there's that. So that means you're gonna have to be disciplined against that triple option. Generally speaking, they don't usually have a very athletic quarterback who's capable of beating you running it himself. So I mean, you have to be disciplined. Our defensive guys are going to have to watch the ball, and they cannot over pursue.
Nope.
If you over pursue against a team, they're going to gash you for 6, 7, 8 yard runs a piece, run that play clock all the way down, and do the same thing again. What they want to do, they want to kill you with death by 10. You ever heard the term death by 10,000 paper cuts?
Yeah.
They want to give you a death by 10,000 paper cuts. They want to just milk it away slowly. Like body blow, wear you down, have you with your hands on your hips, and you feel like you're trying to run in quicksand. That's the style Mount Pleasant wants to play. Their offense is predictable. You know what they're gonna do, but you have to have integrity, and you have to have disciplined eyes. If you don't have disciplined eyes against Mount Pleasant, that's where you end up having over pursuits, and that's how they end up getting big runs on you. So you're gonna have to be disciplined. If our defense is fast and athletic, if they have disciplined eyes, and I think our defense can shut them down and shut them out completely if they're disciplined. And you have to tackle well. They got some big guys. You have to tackle well. We were very poor without tackling against Albemarle. So I mean, you're gonna have to tackle well, and you're gonna have to be disciplined. If they're disciplined and tackle well, our defense should be able to shut their offense down completely because they're not a big play offense. They're not offense that want to attack downfield. They're an offense that want to grind it 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, run clock. That's what they want to do. I think Anson knows that. That's a familiar opponent. They're no longer a conference opponent, but they used to be a conference opponent. So they are a familiar opponent. We know what they want to do. We have the talent on defense to stop that. They just tackle because we have the speed to get in their backfield and without any complication at all. It's just a matter of being intelligent with your eyes. So this is a game I think that we should win, but you still have to play the game.
Yeah.
This is a game I'll probably wait to predict it because I want to hear what your thoughts are on it.
Okay. Well, I say this, like you said, Mount Pleasant is they're a run first team. They've been a run first team for the longest. I've played against them in scrimmages and 7-on-7s, which they have to pass there, but they don't go. They're not a deep threat, so the focus is stopping the run. Make them have to go to what they don't do in order to get possessions. Let's see. Our run defense has been solid. Our heavy run offense, so strength versus strength will come down to who's more disciplined. Absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. But me, back personally, if they go out there and take care of business, as far as like being disciplined, as far as setting the edge, don't let the option fool you. Like I said, they're not athletic. Like no disrespect to them. They're not the most fastest team on the planet. But like you said, if they get those gasses of 6 or 7 yards, that clock is just gonna tick, 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 tick. You're gonna lose possessions. You're gonna lose time on the clock. If you get in the hole, you're gonna have to be quick tempo with it. So basically, when you get the ball, you have to get to the line, get it going. I feel like the faster tempo of that offense, the better results that they'll have. If they go up tempo, if they go quick, I feel like they'll make something happen.
The thing is, if our offense if our offense get out its own way, we should have opportunities to make big plays against them with our speed. Because I know if we can get our athletes in one-on-one matchups and get them in the open field, they're not going to be able to tackle our guys in space. And they're not going to be able to beat our guys in space. If you can get guys like number 10, wide receiver Sturtman, get them in space. Number 19, get them in space. Number 7, get them in space. If you get those Hickson, and then Hickson matches with speed and the physicality. As far as offensively, if we're not getting off schedule, meaning getting untimely penalties that get us off schedule in the down and distance, mishandling the ball, that type of thing. If we're disciplined and we're not sloppy with the ball, there should be an opportunity for us to get our athletes in space, and we should be able to score points on them. But you have to maximize your possessions. You can't have wasted possessions. You can't go to the 10-yard line and end up stalling out on 4th down. You can't have that. You're going to have to finish your possessions. That's what I mean by that. What you were saying about defensively with that option, you're going to have to set that edge. You're absolutely correct. With that, also, the safety is going to have responsibility on that too. But those safeties are going to have to come down. They're going to have to watch, and they're going to have to watch that pitch. And when he pitches out, they got to hit that pitch man. So those safeties are going to have to come down and stop that pitch, or at least defend that. And they're going to have to tackle well. The safety is going to have to tackle well in space. So that's something that's important as well. I know they're not a passing team, but if they get their run game going, sometimes a team like that may throw it only 3 times a game. But over those 3 throws they might throw, one of them might be an 80-yard touchdown pass because now they got you sunk in. They got you trying the line of scrimmage because they've established their run against you. And what happens, sometimes they'll slip a tight end or somebody out across the middle of the field. And when you're trying to blitz, and they'll burn you for an 80-yard touchdown.
So I want to say this too. It's no knock on nobody. It's just my opinion, and it's just most of the DBs out there. Y'all gotta turn around and look for that ball, man. Y'all can't just be running, looking at the receiver the whole time. You need to turn around and find that ball. There's a lot of those plays that you probably could have gotten interceptions on last week. Honestly, you probably could have if you turned around and looked for the ball.
And to the bigger question on that, I would assume that during the week that's something that's being preached. But I've seen it in every game, like against Piedmont right before halftime. That's how Piedmont scored a touchdown. As soon as they took shots downfield, it's like our defensive backs panic. And I've noticed too, they don't turn around and try to locate the ball. They just try to run through the receiver and end up getting a pass interference call, or sometimes a grab and whatever. And I've seen times even when the ball is coming towards our sideline, and I'm not even hearing anyone from our sideline telling the guys because when it's coming towards your sideline, that's an advantage you have because your guys can tell you to turn around or it's coming your way.
That's true.
And and it's like I'm not even seeing that level of communication from teammates or from staff.
My thing is with that, man, you got to know what to be. Like as far as that, like if you covering somebody, you can't just turn around and look at the receiver because 9 times out of 10 they're gonna call pass interference. You run into that receiver.
Because you can't face, especially if you're hip checking and kind of jockeying and that kind of jockeying for position and kind of bumping a little bit. If you run right through them, that's going to be a pass interference every time. And
unless you turn your head around, you can sometimes
right. Because if you turn your head around and make I'm just talking, and I'm not an expert. I'm just talking based on how I've seen it called, even in NFL, college, or high school. I've typically seen when a corner, not always, but when a corner turns around and tries to make a play on the ball, lots of times I've seen officials more lenient with incidental contact versus when the receiver doesn't even turn around at all and try to make a play on the ball. More times than not, when the corner or safety or whoever's in coverage doesn't turn around and try to locate the ball, I've noticed that officials usually call pass interference versus more leniency when you see, even when there's contact, when the corner turns around and try to make a play on the ball.
Because even when you're turning around looking for the ball, just personal experience, you turn around looking for the ball, they can't really call pass interference because you're actually jockeying for position of the ball. So it's not much of them disrupting them, knowing that if you push them or something, they're gonna call it.
And the defender has just as much right to play on the ball as the offensive player. Both of them have equal rights to the space to try to make the play on the ball.
That's it. And 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna call it if you actually hip checking or you fall on the ball. But if you turn around like this and you're like trying to reach out and push them, they're gonna throw that flag. I don't care who you are, where you are, they're gonna throw that flag.
I'm hopeful and optimistic that that's something that the defensive backs coach is seeing and working with the guys with and working on getting that improved, and hopefully we'll see that improvement tomorrow when those opportunities present themselves.
It's like you have the speed. It's just the thing. Like you got the speed. You just got to put the technique into the speed. You could get a lot of picks like that. Like there's another thing. I shouldn't see the safety dropping down. Free safety at that, dropping down in the box when it's a spread. You should kind of stay back. That safety dropped back far enough. Luckily, that guy didn't catch the ball because that could have been like a
there was one that would have been a wide open touchdown had I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So those little things hurt you, especially when you're playing a team that's pretty good and can get that ball to that receiver and they can catch the ball. That'll kill you in those situations.
Because from here on out, then no more gimmies. You're playing the thing about it, the next two games are teams that are kind of similar in style. Because the week after that, not jumping ahead, but just drawing a comparison. Pageland Central, at least traditionally, they're physical, and throughout the years they've run wishbone. I know in recent years they started running spread, but they've run a type that's run a lot of triple option out of wishbone, wing T type stuff too. A team that's no matter what the formation is, a team that's physical, whether they're running spread, whether they're running wishbone, whatever formation they're running. Nevertheless, Pageland is also very physical, and Pageland traditionally have had actual athletes too, so they've been able to have the combination of the power and brute strength along with guys who can gas you in open field too. So my point is, the next 2 weeks, your toughness is going to be tested because you're going to be playing against really physical teams with big guys in the trenches, and they're guys they're programs, they're teams that are both going to want to line up and just knock you in the mouth. And it's going to be, you're playing against two smash mouth opponents. It's not going to be fancy. It's not going to be cute, but it's going to test your fortitude, your mental fortitude, your toughness, and your ability to match their physicality. And of course, when we get a time, and they're starting with Mount Pleasant tomorrow. So this is one of those games where the guys got to be ready. They got to be ready to match the intensity. They got to be ready to match the physicality. And most important, this is a game where it is paramount to be disciplined. Because in a game like this, a lack of discipline can cost you the game. Because you're not going to get but so many possessions.
Right.
And with those possessions, you better make them count. Because you're playing a team that's going to chew up clock.
Oh yeah, that team is gonna chew the clock. That's their goal. Like, they don't care if they get out there with 7 points. If they can keep you from scoring, that's good enough for them. That's better.
Yeah, but if they beat you 7-6, they're the type of team that want to beat you 13-10, 13-6, 16-10. That's their style of play. 20-10, 20-13. That's the style they play.
Yeah, they don't play 40, 50 points. They want to get enough and get those possession downs, get those first downs, and make you.
Actually, the last time they played us, which we blew the game, and Coach Jackson will tell you that too. We blew that game on special teams, but we lost to them 16-15. So that lets you know the style that they play.
Yeah. So
the only victory we had over them was in 2019. We beat them 34-21, and Mount Pleasant had a losing season that year, but that was the year we won conference. But that was a dogfight for us. And Mount Pleasant. The funny thing about it, that same year, Mount Pleasant lost to J.M. Robinson 16-6. A bad J.M. Robinson team. That same J.M. Robinson team, we beat 42-7, where we ended up in a dogfight with Mount Pleasant. We got down early, and officials called a one-sided game in that game too. They called 17 unsportsmanlike conducts against us, I think, or at least 17 penalties against us, and the majority of them were unsportsmanlike conduct. Some of them were arbitrary and ridiculous. And we got down 14-0, so we got in that rabbit hole. Fortunately, guys like Tyreek Hardison, guys like Daquan Sturdivant, just put guys like Rasheed Burns. They showed their leadership, and they didn't let their team fall in the ditch. And they put it on their back, fought back, and really it was 11-15, and the 11 guys beat 15, and won the game 34-21.
I mean, it's a history lesson. You have to take this, and get ready for tomorrow, because, like I said, you gonna have to you gotta be tough tomorrow. It's not we passing the ball. They running down your throat, and they want to see if you can handle it or not. That's the whole point. They want to see if your line of scrimmage can beat their line of scrimmage. So
I think we're gonna win the game.
Yeah. Predictions. Time for predictions.
All right, I think we're gonna win this game. 27-10.
Okay. Here I am. I know I give some scores that people look at me like, that's a crazy score. Being that I know, I'm gonna put last week behind me and put it to the side just for a second. Not for long, but I'm gonna take the home team. 14-7.
I'll take that as long as we win.
Yeah, 14-7. I'm taking 14-7. Prove me wrong. That's all I ask. Score 41-7. But
you never know, because the thing about it, after last week's performance, I would think they'd be refocused and re-energized.
I would hope,
because I think they know that they didn't play up to the expectation that they even have for themselves.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking what's calling them, not one bit. Like, I know what kind of coaches that they got over there, and I know the type of coaches that they are.
Who?
Almar.
Yeah, I mean, former Anson guy, Richard Davis is head coach. So.
Yeah, so I said I'm not knocking that they done, because I know the kind of staff that he got over there with some of the people that he got.
Yeah,
they're gonna
and like
play.
I think Slick is a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Their offensive coordinator. Or anyway, he's one of the top people on their coaching staff. Slick's a friend of our show. I think he watches it. So
Yeah.
So I mean, I shook Slick's hand after the game. So I mean, I respect Slick, and
17-6.
And so I mean, and I want Albemarle to do well I hope Albemarle win the rest of their games because I want Richard Davis to do well. I want to see guys like Slick do well, Coach Bernard Henry, guys like that. I want to see them do well. That's 17-6. That's realistic. That's a realistic score.
Yeah.
And Lee, I know you're a team parent, so I know you have a good pulse on the team. Don't want to put you on the spot, and I don't want you to give away any secrets, but just without giving away any secrets, what's your feel on the pulse of the team right now from what you're witnessing this week? Do you feel the right kind of energy? Have you seen the right kind of energy this week?
That's a good question. That's definitely a good question.
Right? Have you seen the right kind of focus and the right kind of energy thus far? At least from within your household and from within the guys who your son, I feel the group of personnel that he's with the most. Do you see the right kind of energy and the right kind of focus?
It's okay. Be honest. It ain't nothing wrong with being honest.
Nah.
That's what it was about. Let it be known.
And like I said, and that's not a question you're comfortable asking. I'm not gonna try to force you to answer it, but it's just one of those things where I know you're right there, probably at the practices and of course I don't want you to tell anything strategic that you saw, but I'm sure you're there at the practices. You have two players in the house with you, so I know you can kind of have a sense of the room. And I know that this is a talented team that can compete with good teams, but there has to be a level of focus every week. And I know when you got a bunch of sophomores running out there, that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But especially defensively, like I said, the talent is certainly there defensively. Their defense is fast. They're quick to get in the backfield. They penetrate well. They especially front seven. The defensive front is very good and has potential to be great. Mm-hmm. And this is a team with as many sophomores as they have as the youngest team is, and already learning how to win football games. Even when they face adversity, learning how to play through adversity and still finding a way to win football games. That's one thing that we could take out of it. This team faced adversity last week. They blew a lead. They could have mailed it in. Everything was going wrong for them. They were turning the ball over. They were out of sync.
Yeah.
And they could have mailed it in and just taken the collapse and lost the game. But they still found a way to prevail and fight through adversity. So I'm still going to commend them for fighting through adversity, and that shows high character for a really young team.
And I put another positive to it as well with that being said as well. What I did see, I like what I saw as far as the crowd being more into the game. Like you could tell it hadn't been like that in a long time. And with that drive at the end of the game, and you can kind of see the energy.
Well, give Fred Davis some credit because he's been trying to get fan engagement every game. Every big third down, Fred, you're going to hear Coach Davis say, we need you guys. We need you. Fans, we need you. Band, we need you. Cheerleaders, we need you. We need this one. He's gonna always pump it up. I think the unique dialogue for Fred Davis to me is welcome because it's a little different from what you're used to hearing, and you're hearing a guy that's not only announcing the game, but he's also adding the element trying to energize the crowd to get behind the team. I kind of like that, and I like how he gives kudos to players as plays are being made. I think sometimes players can hear that, and I think that adds a little extra fuel. So it's unique, it's different, it's non-traditional, it's not what you're used to. And I think sometimes when people are against things they're not used to, but it's actually grown on me, and I'm liking it. And I hope he does the remainder of the games at home this season.
I think he will. I feel like that. I think the crowd enjoys it.
Let's read what our friend Lee got to say. I'm gonna let you read it out, Nick.
I think the sense of urgency to put a better performance on this week. Don't think any of the guys were pleased with the performance with last week's effort.
That's exactly, and that's the answer I wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's fair to say, and that's good. But they understand that they had the adversity at the point where they were down, and they actually fought to come back. So you can take that as a plus. I know the performance wasn't good, but you can take that win and take all the bad things, correct them, come into this week, forget about last week. Let's just start from scratch. Let's get another W because it's not gonna get easier from here. I'm just gonna tell you that now.
Right. And speak of what he said, I was an English major, so I break down words to a T and analyze them.
Mm-hmm.
What the sense of urgency, I want to break that phrase down. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to hear, and that'll translate in the field. There should always be a sense of urgency. I don't care if you're playing on the North Carolina School of the Deaf. I don't care if you're playing the AFC Rangers. I don't care if you're playing. Trying to think of another. I don't care if you're playing. I always do this every week on them. I don't care if you're playing the Central Academy of Technology and Arts. they're gonna end up fielding a football team at every week when I do this. I don't care if you're playing the Central Academy of Technology and Arts. I refuse to call them CATA. So Central Academy. They even if you're playing them, there should be a sense of urgency because when you don't have a sense of urgency, even if you're good enough to beat an inferior opponent. When you become sloppy in doing so, you create bad habits. And once bad habits are formed, that's in life. That's not only just football. That's in the workplace. That's in your relationship and whatever you're doing. Once you form in your personal life, in your spiritual life with God, or whatever the case may be, once you form bad habits, there's not a switch where you can just, all right, let me go back to my good habits. Bad habits become embedded in you. Bad habits become a part of you. And once you form bad habits, you are one with those bad habits. So at that point, when you get to facing tougher competition, those bad habits, as I said, are embedded in you and they become a part of who you are. And at that point, it's too late to undo them. So you want to establish good habits no matter who you're playing. That way, when you're playing against tough opponents, all of the things that you've worked on, all of the things you put time into perfect, you have that's your muscle memory. That's your first instinct. You want your good habits to be your first instinct, not to be something that you go to when things are not going well. Because when your good habits are your first instinct, then at that point you're already doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. That means you're already where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. So you want to establish good habits so your good habits will be your first instinct. When you're playing an inferior opponent and you form bad habits, those bad habits become your first instinct. And when you're faced with adversity against a tough opponent, the first thing that you're going to go to are your bad habits because that's your first nature. And because you formulated those habits while playing against inferior competition and you got rewarded for doing the wrong things. So that's why I was glad when I saw sense of urgency, because sense of urgency lets me know the importance is there. So they understand the importance and the magnitude. They understand that what happened last week was not acceptable. They also understand that, hey, we have to be better. So if they know, it's just like if someone's an alcoholic, the first step to beating alcoholism is to acknowledge you have a problem. So when I see the acknowledgement, that lets me know that they know that they have to be better. The good thing is, out of all of this, we are a 3-1 football team and have an opportunity to be 4-1, but we have to continue to have good habits for that success to continue, because the competition is getting tougher.
Right.
And Lee, I hope that you share this with your friends. I hope you share this with people on the team. I hope you share this with people you know on the staff. I hope your boys get to see it. I hope that your boys' teammates get to see this, because everything that we're saying here is constructive. Right. We're not here to bash anybody's kid. We're not here to attack anybody personally. That's not what we're doing. We're just analyzing what we see, and we're being constructive. And this is all from a football perspective. Nothing personal against anybody's kid. Nothing personal against any coach. Nothing personal against any parent. This is just constructive analysis. That's all it is.
If you want me to, I do help people at times, getting better with skill positions or whatnot. If he needs help with certain things, I'm more than happy to help anybody. I don't charge anybody a thing. You just let me know. You get up with him or whatever. If you want to get him some extra work in, I can definitely help out with that.
So but as Lee was saying, the talent is there. Like he said, we do. Well, let me read this. We do have some talented corners. My boy is one of them. In fact, he is the one guilty of the pass interference call, but he has but he has to take ownership of it and looks at it as a lesson learned. He has taken ownership of it and looks at it as a lesson learned. And see, I like that. But Lee, you know, I know you, so I know that you're the type father who believes in accountability. I've sat and at games with you and have had conversations with you probably for 13 or 14 years now. So I know the character of a man that you are, and I know that those same qualities have been inherited by your sons. So I have no question. What's going on, HNIC? This second week in a row, I don't know who you are, but thank you for showing up.
Salutes to the Hennick, man. I don't know who you are. I'm trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah, like HNIC, tell me who you are.
Yeah, the Hennick.
The Hennick, yeah, that's what we're gonna call it, because I don't want to use. I ain't gonna call out the acronym. But I wonder is that my coworker? I'm not sure, but I'll get in that in a minute. But back to what Lee was saying, and I'm glad that he understands. Like we his son is just a kid, so we know that, and even in the NFL, all corners get burned. Even all corners get burned. I mean, that's gonna happen. But like what he said, and like even Coach Jackson said, he doesn't have he's never had the issue with the mistake made. He said what he evaluates is how you respond to the mistake. Mm-hmm. So now getting to the response, we've learned that this young man has taken ownership and takes it as a lesson learned, because that's all you can do. You can't cry over spilled milk. Only thing you can do is apply what you learn and use those lessons that you learn to become better. And I'm proud to hear that this young man understands it, and I have no doubts that he will be better. But the reason why I have no doubts is because of the acknowledgement. He's acknowledged it, and he's put in the time and effort. And as time goes by, it's going to show on Friday nights. So I'm like I told Coach Jackson when I texted him last Saturday morning or Friday night. I said I look forward to seeing how the team responds, because we saw what happened last week. That's over and done with. Yeah. We cannot go in the time machine and undo it. And by the way, we won the game. Let's remember that. Never apologize for winning. We won the game, but nevertheless, we can't go back in time and undo or redo anything. Only thing we can do is apply what we learned and move forward. And I'm excited to see how they move forward. At least as you're on here, do you have an update on the JV score tonight? JV is playing Mount Pleasant on the campus of Central Paris, which is only 8 miles from where I'm sitting right now. But I'm not gonna give my exact location because I don't want to talk myself. But
yeah,
and hip hop people know exactly what I mean by that. But if you have an update on that score of the JV game, I'd like to know what that score is if you have it.
Oh, I can't say that out loud. Yeah. I might go make me some chicken and waffles. Shit.
Man, you that hungry, man?
Not right now.
I was like, geez, just go make some chicken waffles in the middle of the show.
Oh man, that's man.
You checked out?
Yeah, no, I'm not mentally checked out. I'm good. I had a joke, but
I don't do it.
Yeah,
got jobs and stuff.
Yeah, I can't do that joke, man. But anyway, I think we covered that. I know what I want to cover this week. And I know you already, we talked about it Sunday after the game.
Talk to Carolina Panthers?
Yeah.
Myles Garrett had him a good day in our backfield. I know that much.
Yeah, he definitely did. Nick Chubb had a good day running the ball in that new field.
Yep. Yeah. Hang on. Somebody's calling me, but I got my drunk on Do Not Disturb. I want to, while she's calling, I'm going to send her a link to the podcast. I mean, send this person a link to the podcast.
All right.
So she can watch it.
All right. Yeah, I want to say referees. Shout out to the referees for that. They lost 35-7.
Well, I'm not going to be too hard on it because a lot of the sophomores on varsity. So you kind of left.
I think that team is just really ninth graders.
And growing pains.
Yeah.
With the Carolina Panthers thing. Oh gosh, that offensive line struggled mightily trying to protect Mayfield. I know the popular thing is Mayfield ain't this and that, and I'm not
the biggest Mayfield fan in the world. But at the end of the day, I mean, he was on his back and getting hit quite a bit in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive line, especially the rookie left tackle. And don't get me wrong, you're talking about a rookie in his first game having the matchup against Myles Garrett, one of the premier pass rushers in the league. That's a tall order to ask a rookie in his first NFL start to cover block against Myles Garrett, and they didn't give him much help. It wasn't often that you saw him with a tight end to help over there or running back to go chip him or anything. It primarily was just him one-on-one on the island trying to cover a rookie in his first NFL start covering a premier pass rusher in this league. And he struggled mightily. I'm not going to write the young man off because that was his first start. You know, hopefully he'll, as like Lee was saying earlier, he'll take ownership, learn from it, and apply it, and continue to be better and live up to his potential. So defensively, I'm very disappointed because this is a defense, and I'm starting to question Phil Snow now because there's too much talent in this defense for Nick Chubb to just run on them the way he did. Nick Chubb and the Kareem Hunt, he's the guy that played with Chiefs. For both of them, they pretty much ran at will, and it wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't like a whole bunch of misdirection. They were just lining up and running the ball off tackle and getting 6 yards a carry. That's disappointing, and it's not acceptable. I know people want to talk about that roughing the passer penalty. Yes, that was a BS penalty. Yes, that was something that was something that I can't say on here.
We'll have to bleep it out if I said what it was. Yes, it was all of that. That was BS. Here's what bothered me. After that, the subsequent play, after that, we stopped him for like a 4-yard loss. And then on the 2nd and 14 or whatever, we're going to let Jacoby Brissett, backup quarterback, hit like a 20-yard completion to get a first down, and then hit another completion to get within range of that 58-yarder. And yes, it's not likely for a guy to hit a 58-yarder. He hit it. And yes, that extra 15 yards didn't matter. However, your defense never really stopped them when they needed to at any point in that game. And those were bad calls, but the game was lost well before then because you never had any business in that position from the get-go. And if your defense would have done what they were expecting, this is a Cleveland team that was playing with his backup quarterback. And he didn't really, and he's not the person that killed you. The running game killed you, and he never had to put the game in his hands. And for you to allow that kind of running, when you're supposed to be a defense that prides itself in stopping the run, you're supposed to have a strong front seven. You got veterans like Shaq Thompson, who I think has been stealing money for years. And when I say stealing money, I mean a guy, for whatever reason, they want to justify his place, and I don't see what everyone sees. I think Shaq Thompson's okay, but I don't see anything special. That middle linebacker, I don't even know his name, Darren whatever. I don't even know who he is, the middle linebacker. Because they got rid of Jermaine Carter, who was just okay. And I want to talk about the defensive front. I didn't hear Derrick Brown's name the entire game. Derrick Brown was a top 10 draft pick. I think he was about the 8th pick in the draft a couple years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm talking. He was a top 10 draft pick coming out of Auburn. This guy was supposed to be a stud, a guy who's supposed to be the anchor of your defensive line. I ain't heard his name. I ain't heard it none last year, and I sure didn't hear it Sunday. We're getting close to the B word. We're getting close to the B word. And for people that don't understand football, we're not talking about anything that rhymes with the witch. We're talking about something that rhymes with just.
Oh,
yeah. And the B word is bust.
Gotta remember with us the offense. One of your pass rushes in football is a recipe for disaster. With that quarterback, yeah.
When Mayfield had time to throw, he was okay. Did he miss some throws? Of course.
Yeah, he did.
Right. Is Mayfield an all-pro quarterback? No. Is he the second coming to Tom Brady? No. But my point is, if he's protected, he's still an adequate starting NFL quarterback. He's still a respectable starting NFL quarterback if he has protection.
Yeah, he can win. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna lose all his games. He can get you a win. I'm not.
I believe this. He won 11 games, 10 or 11 games with the Browns a couple of years ago.
2019, I want to say. Might have been 18.
It wasn't. It was more. It wasn't 18. It might have been 19. It was 19 or 20 when they beat Steelers in that wild card game.
That was 19.
Okay, I think
they ended up losing the next round to
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Was that the year that Kansas City won the Super Bowl? I thought that might have been 2020 when they beat Pittsburgh, because Tampa Bay I thought won the Super Bowl that year.
Hold on, I got my stat checker right here.
Because Kansas City beat Buffalo in the AFC Championship game that year, and they lost to Tampa Bay at Tampa in the Super Bowl.
Let me pull it up. Oops. Hey, where's it at? Because I remember them getting to the playoffs because they played Pittsburgh back to back that year. They had to play them at the end of the regular season, then played them in the wild card game.
Yeah, and that's when Pittsburgh had like 5 turnovers in the first half, and they all went back for touchdowns. And Cleveland beat them.
If I'm not mistaken, Pittsburgh went 8-8 that year.
Now they were better than that. Pittsburgh they were at home. They were the division champion.
No, they were 11-5. They lost the last 5 games. They won 11 straight.
Yeah, because they started out like 8-0 or something like that, right?
No, they went 11-0. They lost.
Yeah, they started 11-0. That's right, and lost the last 5 games of the season.
Yep.
That was crazy, man.
That was that year Dak got hurt when he broke his leg. That's the year.
So what year was that?
That was 20. It had to be 18 or 19.
So 2019, then I guess.
Because the Andy Dalton was the starting quarterback that game.
Andy Dalton didn't start that playoff game.
No. I'm talking about against when Dallas beat them for their first loss when they started that 5-game losing streak. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah. Andy Dalton was the backup quarterback in Dallas. I got you now.
Yeah, because Dak got hurt like
the red. What they call him, the Red Rifle or the Red Rocket or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Former TCU Horned Frog.
Was it 2019 NFL playoffs? I think that's when it was. NFL playoff bracket. That year was the Super Bowl was Kansas City and San Francisco. That was
okay. That's 2019. So you're right.
Was it? Let me see.
You're right. That's 2019. You got it.
No. No one. It had to be 18.
That was the 2019 season when the Chiefs beat the game was played in 2020 in February, but the season was the 2019 season when the Chiefs beat 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Wait a minute, you might be right because 18 Philadelphia won.
Yeah, with Nick Foles.
Yeah, that was the 18 season. Yeah. That's right. I think. No.
All right, come on, man. All you gotta do is look it up.
That's what I'm doing now. 2020. It might have been 2020, man.
Well, just look up the 2020 season, man.
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
Let me read what my friend said while you're taking forever to look that up. Oh, that's what they're trying to run the West Coast offense. Yeah, you read that, right?
Yeah. You could. Let's see. I'm trying to see.
HNIC, since you know me, text me or shoot me a message after this is over so I know who you are.
I think I know who it is.
Is it somebody from back home?
Yeah, let me ask you, let me see. Hey, HNIC, are you a Green Bay Packer fan? That's all I need to know. Now I know who it is. That's Baltimore. Oh, this thing.
Good God Almighty, Nick, I couldn't find this right now.
It pulling up like. Okay, there it is. It was the 2020 season.
Oh, geez, that took long enough. All right.
Yeah, it was 2020. It was 48-37.
Yeah, I know the score of the game. I just want to confirm what season that was. So that was the 2020 season. That was the year Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So basically, it was 2 years removed from a playoff victory.
Yep.
I know who it is. He said, "Yeah." I know exactly who it is. Driver, what's going on, Driver?
And then the Green Bay Packers fan. I'm trying to think of who. Danny Preston is a Green Bay Packers fan, but I know that with that name, it wouldn't be Danny Preston.
That ain't Danny Preston with that name. Definitely not Danny Preston with that name.
That ain't Danny Preston.
No.
Shout out to LD. What's up, LD? If you watch.
But yeah, but I mean, I'm not. He can lead a team. It's been done. They believed him. Well, at one point in time, the franchise believed in him. Then they had their turmoil with coaching and players and other things of that nature. But nevertheless, the man's proven that he can win a playoff game. So you can't say he hasn't. He played
it's not that he's a bum. Is he an all-pro? No, but he's still an adequate starting NFL quarterback.
Yeah. At this time, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Baker Mayfield? Or would you rather have, you know what, that's the trick question because I'm gonna get into that too after I get into this. Or would you rather have Mitchell Trubisky?
I'd rather have Mayfield than Mitch Trubisky, but
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky shows me nothing. But
this is the main topic of the thing that I want to really talk about. And I know you can say a lot of things about what happened about the game or whatever, but my eyes, I seen a Geno Smith that looked somewhat good. Well, the team.
Well, I didn't watch the game, but I mean, I looked at his numbers and I saw they won the game. So I mean,
yeah,
good for him, man. Maybe coaching was the issue. You got to understand when he was with the Jets, that's when QBs go to die.
Sam Darnold, that's you.
So I mean, I haven't seen a quarterback do well with the Jets in forever.
No, I don't even think the one they just drafted ain't even playing right now.
Well, he's hurt. He got hurt in the preseason. Zach, whatever his name is.
Ryder Wilson.
The one that was going with his mom's best friend or whatever. That guy. From BYU. Yeah, the guy from BYU. I guess he violated BYU's honor code. I knew you'd catch that.
A lot of people don't understand, but I know what you're talking about. I'm not.
Yeah, anybody who's like a diehard sports fan should be familiar with the BYU honor code. But if not, look it up.
The school name is Brigham Young University.
Yeah, and it's a church that's funded by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a Mormon school. Mm-hmm. Their biggest rival is Utah. They call that the Holy War when Utah and BYU link up. So there's a little bit about BYU.
Oh man, yes.
Famous alum include Steve Young.
Senator Mitt Romney is a graduate of BYU as well. So there's some
BYU that was pretty. Now I'm thinking about basketball.
What about them in basketball?
One of them, it was a good player they had. It's been a couple years ago. I can't.
You're talking about old Jimmer Fredette back when he played.
Yeah,
BYU. That was like 10 years ago, man.
Yeah, I know it was a couple.
They were still in the Mountain West back then.
He was a good. I don't even know if he got to the NBA or not.
No, I mean he got drafted, but man, only time I see him is in that thing, that the basketball tournament. You know that TBT thing they be having on ESPN. He be playing in that.
Throwback Thursdays.
What up, Chilltown? How you doing, my brother?
Chilltown in the building, man. Hey, for all the people over here, y'all definitely go subscribe to the channel Chilltown as well. Dope content, man. Don't want to miss anything, especially what did he say? Did Danny Ainge go to BYU?
I think so.
I'm not sure on that one.
I believe he did. I think he did.
Stat checker.
I'm almost certain Danny Ainge went to BYU.
But yeah, if y'all ain't subscribed to channel Chilltown.
So did former Chicago Bears Super Bowl winning quarterback Jim McMahon. He played at BYU.
Yeah, I know he did. Definitely go sub to the channel Chilltown, man. Definitely check out the Chili and Black show. They do sports as well. Definitely go check them out. They have a dope show as well.
Trevor Maddich from ESPN. He played at BYU. They were coached by legendary head coach LaVale Gary. God rest his soul, he died a couple years ago, or a few years ago. Coach LaVale Gary. Not LaVale Gary. Laval something. It's Laval something. Chilltown, you might know. What was Laval's last name? He used to coach BYU. They coached him when they won the national title with Steve Young and all them were playing there.
BYU is correct. 77 to 81.
Yeah. So
you said what coach?
They had a legendary coach when Young, and it was like Lavelle something, but I can't think of his last name. But he died about 6 years ago. But he was the legendary football coach at BYU. BYU won a national title like in 1982 or something like that. They won a national title while playing in the WAC. Yeah, that's crazy. And enough about BYU. That was a weird tangent we got on.
Yeah, it was. I don't know how we got on it. Oh yeah,
I don't either.
something about a
I have
quarterback.
no idea. This is probably the most the BYU's been talking about on the East Coast probably this decade.
What'd you say
Laval
his
Edwards.
last name? What'd you say his
Laval
last
Edwards. Thank you, Chilltown.
Edwards. Yeah, I see it now.
And I bet
72.
Chilltown didn't even have to Google it. I bet he knew that right off the dome. He's kind of out there in that West Coast. Well, he is in the West Coast, went to school in Arizona, so he's familiar with that western area where the radio stations start with a K instead of a W. He's familiar with all that.
K-O.
Something about the West Coast.
But I thought, I don't know, man. For me, watching the game Monday, I thought, I don't know. Well, I guess the team hadn't got together. Is it they named the stadium after him?
Yep. Just like Bill Snyder at K-State, Bill Snyder Family Stadium, we know that. Yeah.
But oh yeah, your predicament was right too for Saturday when you went to the game. You did call that one out.
Oh, what you talking about?
UNC 49ers in Maryland.
What'd I say?
I think he was like the score will get ugly if they don't handle business.
Yeah, it did. And the thing about offensively, we competed with them for like 2 quarters, and then the game just got out of hand. UNC Charlotte's defense is probably the worst in the country.
Ooh.
And Coach, and again, I'll say it again, Coach Will Healy is incompetent, and they're gonna have to head in a different direction.
Well, I think in order to like I said, that they're gonna go ahead and upgrade that stadium, they're gonna have to do changes because you got to sell seats. So you got to put butts in seats. I mean, I don't think they have a problem putting butts in seats, but
well, if you keep losing, you will.
Yeah, you keep losing. Yeah,
they got Georgia State this Saturday. That Georgia State just gave North Carolina a heck of an effort this Saturday. And I don't think we're going to go down to Atlanta and beat them. So I feel like we're going to lose that. Then after that, we go to South Carolina. I feel like we're going to lose that too. We're going to make Spencer Rattler. We're going to make Spencer Rattler look like what he was supposed to look like when he was in Oklahoma.
The Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah, if he enters the NFL draft, hopefully he'll just show him the film of the game against UNC Charlotte when they play us, and he might get back to the draft status that he was originally supposed to have.
Here's my thing, man. I want to talk about that crap, that stuff too. I don't say crap, but I mean stuff. Like, dude, Spencer Rattler, you were highly recruited. I understand.
No, it was number 1 quarterback. He was like a top 5 recruit, was he not?
He was. And I want to understand something with this. I get it. Oklahoma is like one of those programs like we take top 5 players. We that's what we air.
Oklahoma is a blue blood program in college football.
Thank you. Now, South Carolina, on the other hand, is not quite that blue blood program.
And they're not at all. Don't try to be nice talking about some not quite. They're not a blue blood program at all. They're just South Carolina. They're the other Carolina. They're the other USC.
I don't know what the personal choice was. I don't know how much money they offered you. So for you to come to South Carolina, because
I guess he felt like he could be big man on campus in South Carolina. Big fish in a little pond. What the weekend said? The weekend said you're somebody now, but what's a somebody in a nobody town? That's what the weekend said. Let me repeat that. You're somebody now, but what's a somebody in a nobody town? Big fish, little pond. He could be big man on campus when it's a little pool.
Yeah, and they play Georgia.
And he's still not that good. No, he ain't knocking doors. He gonna look good against Charlotte because Charlotte make all quarterbacks look great.
I was thinking he would go some more along the lines of like a Pac-12 school. That's what I was thinking at first when he transferred. Not USC or anything, but
yeah, because he won't go. Riley benched him. He won't go to USC.
Nah, I was thinking more like a UCLA.
And for those who are confused, yes, he's in South Carolina. We're talking about the real USC, Southern California. Just for those who might be confused.
Yeah.
So yes, we know he's in South Carolina. We're talking about not going to Southern California, the actual USC that from a national perspective people know about.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, maybe a Washington State or a Cal, Berkeley or UCLA or Arizona, for God's sakes. I
don't know what quarterback want to go. And Chilltown, this is not a diss, but Arizona's a basketball school. And I know that's your alma mater, but that's a basketball school. Ain't no quarterback want to go to Arizona. You know it. As far as California, the only quarterback from California I ever known to be worth a blank is Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about that play at the University of California.
Oh, okay.
Kyle Bowler went to California. He didn't show me nothing. Did Achilles Smith go to California?
Achilles Smith, I think he did went to California. If not, he
Chill
went.
Town, help me out. Did Achilles Smith go to California? Did the University of California, the Golden Bears?
Achilles Smith.
He was like a high draft pick too.
I think did I spell his name right?
Akili, something like that. You know Achilles Smith.
AK. Yeah, it's Achilles Smith.
Now, Nick, this ain't gonna take you 30 minutes like it did with the other thing. Did. Yeah.
No, I got it right here. He went to college.
You might need to get your money back for that thing.
No, he went to Oregon. No, it's my old phone.
He went to Oregon. My bad. So that's wrong Pac-12 school. I stand corrected. So, but Kyle Bowler did go to California, and he showed me nothing. Like I said, aside from Aaron Rodgers, I can't think of a California Golden Bears quarterback who had a spectacular NFL career, at least not in the modern era. Let me put it like that.
Are you just saying like Cal in general, like any California college?
I'm saying the California Golden Bears, the University of California.
Okay, I was just saying, I didn't know if it was like California in general, like.
And I'm sure Chilltown lives in Alameda County, so I'm sure. And I didn't mean. Forgive me if you don't want your location out there, but you live in the Bay Area, let's put it like that. So you're familiar with California Golden Bears. It's right there in your area. Just like Cal and Stanford, that's the Bay Area. Stanford's in Palo Alto, which is near San Jose and all that. So, Cal and Stanford are probably about 45 miles apart. But I ain't never known a Cal quarterback in the modern era to be spectacular in the NFL, aside from Aaron Rodgers.
That's the only one. And even at then, he got in that draft.
Yeah, he benefited from sitting behind Favre a couple of years and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because he was upset because he didn't get drafted by the 49ers, which right down the road from where he played. But I always say this: if he would have played with the 49ers, he would have been ruined just like Alex Smith was.
Yep, definitely would have. That's good.
Alex Smith ended up salvaging his career and ended up having a solid career. But I'm talking about, he was a late bloomer. That was because he had like 5 different coordinators and 5 different offensive coordinators in his first 5 years. Because at that time they were churning coaches in and out, different head coaches, different. I remember they had Mike Nolan. Jimmy, when they had Jimmy Ray as offensive coordinator, he was horrible. Singletary. Then finally, when they got Harbaugh and Greg Roman in there, that kind of created some stability.
I think when he got to the point where he was actually getting good, Kaepernick actually did well.
Kaepernick gave them a jolt. Yeah, and I'm not getting into social political things right now, but just strictly from a football perspective, Kaepernick gave them a jolt because he had a live arm and he had the mobility as well.
Right.
And that dynamic added to that power running game, Frank Gore. He added an element of explosiveness. Excuse me. No matter how anyone feel about Kaepernick, just talking football, he took them to a Super Bowl appearance. That happened. Yeah, and then the next year took him to the NFC Championship game. That happened. Yep. Colin Kaepernick could play football. He had a shoulder injury too, where he never looked all the way right after that shoulder injury. But I'm not I don't want to get into how I feel about Kaepernick. I'm just talking football. But from a football perspective, when he was at his best, he was very good.
Here's another good little quick topic, right quick. Think Dallas wasted money on Dak Prescott?
That's a tough one. Good to think about it. If you got I never thought Dak was an all-pro quarterback. I always thought he was a solid starter. But the thing about it, good quarterbacks don't come a dime a dozen. So if you got a solid quarterback, you got to pay him. But the thing about it, they don't grow on trees, Nick.
No, they don't. No.
It, like Bill Parcells said, he said, you guys think you can dial 1-800 get a quarterback. It doesn't work like that. So if you have stability at the quarterback position, you got to maintain that stability. It's not like people it's not like MVP quarterbacks, generally speaking, are not just hitting free agency. Good quarterbacks don't hit free agency unless they're coming off an injury, unless there are questions about their health. That's how Drew Brees hit free agency when he left the Chargers because of his shoulder. But generally speaking, good, healthy quarterbacks don't hit free agency. So if you got a solid starting quarterback, you got stability, you got to maintain that stability. And the quarterback market is inflated. Guys, run-of-the-mill quarterbacks are getting $120 million contracts. That's just the way it is. Now even $200 million contract. That's just the way it is. So I don't think they wasted money. I mean, he got hurt. Yeah. I thought they wasted money on their coach, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I really thought they was in the hunt for getting Sean Payton, but I think that'll be next year.
Sean Payton was the offensive coordinator when Bill Parcells did. That made too much sense. I don't know if Jerry didn't want to do it, but Sean Payton was still with the Saints at the time. They probably didn't want to give up draft picks, but at this point, it would not shock me if McCarthy gets fired at the end of the season and they bring in Payton.
I'm looking at that way because right now, you got to go without Dak for. They say 4 weeks, but it's gonna be 8. I can about probably.
Well, anytime you're having surgery, you're not just gonna bounce right back. I mean, he had to have surgery on his hand or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think he had like a plate or something put in there.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're not just gonna bounce back in a couple weeks. Like, I'm feeling good. I'm ready. And your quarterback, is it his throwing hand or his non-throwing hand?
That's his throwing hand.
Oh, come on, we know he's gonna be out longer. If they don't, you don't want him to end up like Kurt Warner back when he couldn't throw the football.
But Jerry Jones is gonna make it news clickbait basically. Hey, we'll be back in 4 weeks. That kind of.
He won't be back in 4 weeks. Not if he has surgery on his throwing hand.
No, it's not. It's impossible. And I'm not knocking it if he tries. I'm not saying he can't, but it's highly impossible because you got to have time to grip that ball because you ain't gonna grab that ball like this. That's just impossible.
Yeah, you don't want him to develop arthritis in the hand either. No. Trying to come back too soon.
No, you don't want to do that. He said Cowboys need new management, not new coaches.
They might need both.
I think it's a mix of both, Chilltown. I honestly think they need a new coach. That's just evident. That's just evident right now. New coach. I don't know how I feel about the offensive coordinator. He's okay. He's all right.
Who is the offensive coordinator?
Kellen Moore.
Oh yeah, played at Boise State.
Yeah,
he used to be back quarterback when Roman was there.
Yes, he's okay. I mean, it's not like he's calling bad stuff. It's just
ain't there starting left tackle Tyron Smith? Ain't he out too?
He's out too. They got a rookie in.
Oh God,
Tyler Smith, and then they just signed my man from the Eagles, Peters.
Yeah, he kind of washed up now. And Peters was a good player. Peters getting old now. Ain't he?
He's like 40. If he close to it, if he ain't.
I know Peters was a veteran even back when I was in college, and that was like 12 years ago.
So I know he got to be 40, at least 40.
Well, take your little stat down. Look up his age and see how old he is. See if we get that age sometime tonight.
Yeah.
That's
I'm having the update right now. That's probably why I was slowing down.
How much you pay for that thing, man? I'm about to say you ought to get your money back for that too.
No, this is my old phone.
Oh,
I'm just using it as a thing. I ain't had it on in a while.
Oh, you can use Wi-Fi just to get answer.
Yeah, but it got all them updates. I hadn't had it.
Then you down there ways or two where you ain't even got a 5G and stuff.
No, I actually got 5G on this phone. I had to
I stand here. Oh, yeah, I forgot I read that article where they got some grant with their internet down there in Anderson County. So I'm about to say, shout out to that, man.
I got Wi-Fi. I got 5G on my iPhone. But this phone, this phone was a 4G phone. It was the Note 10.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Let me
see. Find out how old Jason Peter is. Jason Peter.
Right. I got you.
Chilltown maybe got it for him.
Did he get it?
Nah, he said they let Amari walk, and why is Zeke still starting? Let me see if I'll put it up there. Yeah, there it is. I don't know, Chilltown.
Those questions can't be answered.
I'm not in a position that I don't have first-hand knowledge. I'm not in a position to answer those questions. Right now, I'm just focused on the Panthers and Giants. Hopefully, the Panthers come out and execute. That's all I got for you, man.
Oh, that's who Carolina got this week?
Yep, up in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Oh, man.
And the Meadowlands.
Giants actually shocked me last week.
Man, they were down 20-7 when I quit watching the game. I finally came back and won.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked.
Former Charlotte Latin quarterback Daniel Jones. And former Penn State Nittany Lion running back Saquon Barkley.
He looked like he didn't miss a step last week.
Well, he looks healthy. The second year from that ACL, he looks right now.
Yeah, he definitely looks right. I don't know. Well, Tennessee, that's the team that needs a quarterback. I don't care what you say. I don't care.
They got Tannehill, man. They got Ryan Tannehill.
I don't care if they win 24. I don't care if they win 24 games in a 17-game season. They still need a new quarterback.
Tannehill, the man, the former Texas A&M Aggie. He's the man.
You don't believe it. Okay, I hope Carolina.
Speaking of Texas A&M, before this podcast is over.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I forgot. I'm sorry. That should have came up too. But I'll let you have
Texas,
the floor.
I don't know. I'm going to call out Jimbo Fisher right here, right now.
You got the floor, baby.
Jimbo Fisher has been living off of a national championship that was won in 2013 when Jameis Winston and Kelvin Benjamin and Rashad Green led that drive to beat Auburn in the championship game in the 2013 season. And he left Florida State in shambles, went to Texas A&M, has had a top 10 recruiting class every year he's been there, and they still find a way to go 8-4. And last week, they lost to the Appalachian State Mountaineers at home, ranked number 6 in the preseason poll. Lost to the Appalachian State Mountaineers at home. So Michigan ain't the only one now. Lost them at home. And then I heard the announcer give him a hall pass talking about, well, A&M has a window to win a championship, but it might not be this year once those guys get seasoned. I said, come on now. I said, Jimbo been there for 5 years and he's had a top 2 class every year. I'm like, what is stop? His record. Did you see that post I made comparing him to Kevin Sumlin in their first 50 games at A&M?
Yep, I seen that.
Kevin Sumlin has won more games. He won one more game, 37 and 13. Whereas that equals 50. And Jimbo is 36 and 14. So but during this time, Kevin Sumlin was on the hot seat, and every year, the last 2 years, at this point, at least during that span, through his first 50 games, they were talking about him being on the hot seat, and the boosters not wanting him there, ready for him to go because they're underachieving. He did not have nearly as high ranked recruiting classes as Jimbo Fisher had either. Won more games.
Oh, there will be.
Let me finish. Has more wins against ranked opponents. Has more road wins against ranked opponents. Has 0 losses to schools who are not in Power 5 conferences, and across every statistic, he's been better. He was better than Jimbo through his first 50 games. But Jimbo just got an extension last year, and Kevin Sumlin was on the hot seat and ultimately lost his job. When through this time frame, Kevin Sumlin's record has been better, and he did more with less, and Jimbo's done less with more. Did it with less talented players and in the same conference, against the same level of competition. And not only that, Jimbo's also done worse against lesser competition.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can't tell me that the way college football was set up, that hierarchy, that there's not bias in that hierarchy. Jimbo Fisher deserves every bit of criticism he gets, and Texas A&M is overrated every year. And you know what? Speaking of the state of Texas, I'm going to make another bold prediction. I predicted UTSA Roadrunners to beat the Texas Longhorns Saturday. I expect the University of Texas at San Antonio to beat the University of Texas this Saturday. UTSA was a top 25 team last year, and they pretty much returned everything they got. They have a great offense. Texas is not that great defensively, even though they look good against Alabama. Let me explain my logic in 1 second after I put my phone on my phone.
So again, I'm saying UTSA will beat UT. So
I got a bold prediction for Saturday as well.
Okay, here number 1.
Texas came off an emotional game against number 1 team Alabama. This close to beating them. They were unranked in the previous poll. I've never seen a team who was unranked in a poll lose their next game and then enter the rankings, and they ranked 21st this week. I've never seen a team that wasn't ranked previously and ended up getting ranked after losing. And I know someone's going to say, well, they were close and they went toe-to-toe with Alabama. Last time I checked, 20 was more than 19. Am I mistaken, Nick? Is 20 more than 19?
Yeah, no, 20 to 19.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is 20 more than 19?
That definitely is. 20 is more than
19.
Yeah,
and Lee Lomax, is 20 more than 19? Yeah. I'll wait for you can type whenever. Chilltown, is 20 more than 19? Last time I checked, if you scored 19, other teams scored 20, that means you lost. So I've never seen an unranked team become ranked following a loss. Secondly, from an emotional game like that, where they look so great against a superior team, now you're playing against Texas San Antonio. Your crowd probably not even going to be there in big numbers. It's not going to be as high. No. You're at a point now you're liking the smell of your own farts. You've been even in defeat, you're being told how great you are. You're getting the treatment that you get at WrestleMania when you lose to the Undertaker. It's like, yeah, you lost to the Undertaker, but you had a great match. So you're getting that kind of reception.
It makes you career.
Now with the drop, when you're talking about UTSA, a team from Conference USA, going to the American next year, there's not going to be that hype, and a lot of times even your players may not be as engaged going to that game, and there's a natural letdown given the game you had before and how great you were, and now even though you lost, people are thinking that you're really good now, even though you haven't proven it because you're 1-1. That's a formula for a team like UTSA who has nothing to lose.
Right.
No pressure at all. A team that's looking to continue to raise its profile. I expect the UTSA Roadrunners to catch the Texas Longhorns sleeping, and I am predicting the University of Texas at San Antonio to defeat the University of Texas this Saturday.
I like the prediction. I got another bold prediction. I'm going to go in favor of App State again this week, beating NC State.
Whoa! That's what they play this weekend?
Yep. College game day. Like Chill Towns, the college game day will be in App State this Saturday.
So is the game in Boone or the game in Raleigh?
No, the game in Boone.
NC State's better than North Carolina, man.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
NC State got a better team than North Carolina, man.
But I feel like that team is going to go in. They're going to underestimate them, and they're going to get kicked in the mouth.
I'm going to go with I'm going to give a bold prediction on that game. I think NC State win that game by at least 3 touchdowns.
I think App State will win by field goal.
So what's your score to for App versus NC State?
27-24.
I say NC State wins 38-14.
That's good. I give you that. I just like the vibe right now. App State is,
but I'm gonna tell you why I say that.
Mm.
App State went toe-to-toe with North Carolina.
Yeah. In a shootout.
Yeah. And then they went on the road in a hostile environment, emotional type win against who was ranked number 6 in the country. Now you turn around back-to-back and playing like number 15 or 16 team in the country at home. Now, when you're going on the road like that us against the world, now you come back home where everybody's looking for you to get upset at home because you're confident in yourself now. You got an NC State team that already got caught sleepwalking against East Carolina.
They did.
Yeah. They're not gonna underestimate someone twice. And NC State still got a lot to prove. They're wanting to prove that they're an elite team this year. They're a team that feel like that they can win an ACC championship and perhaps even compete for a college football playoff spot. They have those kind of aspirations this year, and they know they cannot lose to an Appalachian State team. And I think, think about the element of surprise is not there. Appalachian State can't surprise them because now they're on everybody's radar. I think NC State's going to go in there and they're going to win that game and dominate.
Can they dominate?
Yes.
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a close game.
It might be, but I'm predicting NC State to dominate. So I'm predicting NC State to win and by 3 scores against Appalachian State, and I'm predicting Texas San Antonio to beat Texas.
Okay, I like that. Let me see what matchups for the week. Cause I got it back. My phone's back.
Yeah.
I'm
about to dip in a few minutes though, but I do want to do this.
Yeah, we can run a couple college NCAA top 25. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go. Let's see. Here we go. Let me start from number 1. Number 1, Georgia, South Carolina.
Georgia in a blowout.
Yeah. Number 2, UConn versus Michigan.
No matter who UConn plays, I predict them losing the blowout. This ain't basketball.
Yeah. Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Oklahoma, but shout out the interim head coach Scott Frost got fired this week, deservingly, and they promoted interim coach. I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he's the first African American coach in Nebraska history for any sport.
Didn't he used to be the quarterback in Nebraska?
I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't forgot the guy's name. I just know he's black.
No, I'm talking about Scott Frost.
Yeah, Scott Frost used to play quarterback in Nebraska. He sure did. He played for so did Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals. Zach Taylor played quarterback at Wake Forest. He transferred from Wake Forest to Nebraska and played under Coach Bill Callahan.
Youngstown State versus Kentucky.
But Youngstown State used to have good teams. Coach, they're coached by Bo Pelini that used to coach Nebraska.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and the president of the school is Jim Tressel.
Yeah, the one used to be at Ohio.
Ohio State. Yeah.
Yeah. Texas State at Baylor.
But Texas State will hang with them for like a half. Texas State's not that bad.
We've been saying this name all night. BYU versus Oregon.
Where's the game played?
It's gonna be in Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah. I still want another quarterback, but whatever.
Ole Miss, man.
I mean, they can dunk. Yeah, he did. We won. So
all right, let's go to the next game, man.
Ole Miss, Georgia Tech. That's a tricky one.
Where the game at?
Georgia Tech.
I'm gonna say Ole Miss in a close one.
Okay. They got them 16-point favorites.
It'll be close. I think they'll win by like a touchdown.
Okay. Penn State, Auburn.
At Auburn.
Mm-hmm. 3-point favorite. Penn State.
That's a coin flip. I'm gonna say Penn State, but that can go either way.
Okay. UL Monroe versus Alabama. 49-point favorites. Not gotta say a thing.
And they're gonna win by more than that. By Alabama.
Yeah. Liberty at Wake Forest.
Ooh, I'm gonna say Wake, but that might be a dogfight.
16-point favorites.
That might be but Liberty ain't trash. Coach Hugh Freeze ain't got. Well, I know Malik Willis isn't there anymore, but when they had Willis, they were definitely good.
Yeah.
I play this. Wake Forest is gonna win the game, but Liberty will put up a fight.
Okay. Toledo at Ohio State.
Ohio State, but Toledo played with him for 3 quarters.
Okay.
Toledo's feisty. One of my first cousins got his grad degree from Toledo.
Okay.
Toledo Rockets. That's about 50 miles from Detroit.
This was funny. Pine Bluff and Oklahoma State.
Arkansas Pine Bluff. They're talking about Arkansas Pine Bluff. They've ever called Pine Bluff. Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That's a get paid to play game.
You know what the score line for that one is?
50 something.
None.
I didn't even put a line on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a practice game. Missouri State at Arkansas.
Come on, Arkansas.
Here's a good one. Akron at Tennessee.
I'm going with Tennessee, but Akron's not chopped liver.
Okay.
But I think Tennessee will win. I think Tennessee will still win like 38-17 or something like that.
Wait, this is okay. I guess this is the game for the week. I thought, well, they must be coming up soon. Anyway, they got Texas Tech playing NC State this week.
Well, I think NC State beats Texas Tech. Where's the whole? Does App and NC State even play this week?
Nah, it's the week of the 17th. So honestly, it's Texas Tech versus NC State. But they said College Game Day will be in.
Well, College Game Day can still be at App State. But by the way, I think NC State will beat Texas Tech, and I think they will beat them the same way.
Okay.
Texas Tech has no defense, so I think they'll beat them the same way. So, so I'm going with NC State on that.
Michigan State at Washington.
Michigan State.
Okay. USF at Florida.
Florida.
Pittsburgh.
USF hasn't been good since Willie Taggart been gone.
Yeah. Pittsburgh at Western Michigan.
Ooh, last year Western Michigan beat Pitt. Yeah, Western Michigan beat ACC champion last year and beat them at Pitt. I think Pitt will beat them, but I think because they're not going to be able to surprise them this time, so I'm going to say Pitt.
They got them a 10-point favor. Louisiana Tech versus Clemson.
Clemson, but I think the game will be not as long as DJ Uiagalelei is playing. I don't think it's going to be like a crazy blowout. I think it'll be like one of those 28-10 type blowouts.
Okay. The one we just got to talk about, UTSA at Texas.
UTSA. Roadrunners.
Texas is 11-point favor.
I think the UTSA Roadrunners will beat the Texas Longhorns. I'm sticking with it.
Here's the game I'm ready for, and I already know who you're going to say. Miami versus Texas A&M. As you see it, do you? And they are. Oh wait, Texas A&M is 5-point favorites. Whatever.
I think the Miami Hurricanes will go into Texas College. Miami has a solid defense. Texas A&M has no offense. I think the Miami Hurricanes will go into College Station, Texas, at Kyle Field and beat the Texas A&M Aggies.
And they have a good quarterback, by the way. If I want to put that out there.
That's cool.
Yeah. San Diego State versus Utah.
That's a former conference rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
The San Diego State Aztecs and Utah Utes were former Mountain West rivals and former WAC rivals. But of course, now Utah's in the Pac-12. Utah had a disappointing loss early in the season to Florida. I think Utah's going to beat their former conference rival.
Okay. And last one on the list, Fresno State at USC, and no, not South Carolina.
I think USC wins in the shootout. Fresno State and USC always have they have some barn burners. Even in Reggie Bush, when Reggie Bush was there, Fresno State took them to the brink. When Bush won the Heisman and when they had Leinart and they won, if they didn't win the national titles the year they may have lost to Texas, they beat Fresno 50-42. So
Fresno, was a high-scoring game, and actually Fresno, I think they were ranked that year. If I'm not mistaken.
My point is, Fresno's always competitive. Like Fresno's one of those schools. They got a big stadium too at Fresno. They're one of those schools where you can't go in there sleeping. So, and USC hasn't proven enough that they're back yet.
Right.
I think they're going to beat Fresno, but I think they're going to beat them in a close game, like something like 41-31.
Okay, I give you that, and that was all the top 25 right there.
Well, I don't want to predict between Bowling Green versus Western Kentucky. We ain't get.
No, that's too much. That's way too
much. Army. I don't want to predict Army versus whoever.
Army versus the Citadel.
Yeah, I don't want to predict that.
I got the Citadel by 1.
Well, Army's down this year, man. Army a couple of years ago, man, they were good.
I think Army was ranked about 5 years ago.
That was Navy. That was Navy.
Was it? Yeah, Navy. That's what it was. Navy. I'm sorry. Navy was ranked about 5.
When they had Keenan Reynolds and all that midshipman.
Yeah.
Now my dad served 21 years in Navy, so I root for the Navy midshipmen when they're playing. As long as they're not playing the team I root for.
Yeah, as long as they ain't playing UNC Charlotte.
Well, next year they're gonna be in the same conference in football. So.
Oh boy, well, it might be a pretty good. I'm pretty sure that first game might be up that way.
They're in Annapolis, Maryland, is where they're located.
Okay.
About 33 miles east of Washington D.C.
D.C. Yep.
Yeah.
Take a little
26 miles southeast of Baltimore.
Take a little ride down 95-301. You find
that's in Anne Arundel County, Maryland.
Yep. Not too far from Waldorf or Prince Charles County.
Not far from Prince George's County. Well, borders Prince George's County.
Yeah, that's where my people stay, Prince George.
I got my family lives in Prince George's County.
Oh man,
University of Maryland's in Prince George's County. Landover Field, where the home of the Washington Commanders, is in Prince George's County.
Yep.
And the national heat sensation Kevin Durant is from Prince George's County.
I got to go. Shut this down.
I didn't say Don. I said sensation. I'm not being like Don Imus. I said sensation.
Nah, I'm talking about the first part. Yeah, I didn't care about the sensation part. I heard the first part of that. the end. What do you say? The wet head sensation.
Nappy headed sensation. Yeah.
I wish he could have had. God knows.
Yeah. Cause he made way too much money for his head look like that.
Well, I mean, they get weird when they get richer. So.
Yeah.
But they say more money makes you what you really are.
Hey, well, I want to find out what I really am. Give me some money.
I know what I am. I'm still gonna be at work, paying bills. Same person, same time, same day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have to work every day too, man. I ain't arrived yet.
Nah, I ain't arrived yet. One day maybe I will. If I don't, hey,
I'll see you when you get there.
Oh yeah, I'll see you when you get there. We'll see you when you get there. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for coming through tonight. We had a little good turnout, man. Appreciate the new subscriber too. What was your name? I'm sorry.
Lee, our good friend Lee.
Lee and Josh. Yeah, so appreciate you guys, man, for subscribing up to the channel, man. And like I said, good luck answering tomorrow. I might be at the game, I may not. I don't know yet, but I would definitely let you know close to kickoff.
Well, I will be there.
I know you'll be there. So if I'm not there, I might be nearby. But I have to keep me informed.
As long as the men upstairs allow me to be down there, I will be there.
I mean, so I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna. I might be there for a little bit. I'm not promising because, like I said, I got work, so I'm not 100% sure. But I'm gonna try to make it.
All right.
So appreciate everybody for coming through. Hey, again, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, Chill Town, go give Channel Chill Town a subscribe right now. Definitely go sub up to the man. Dope content, man. You don't want to miss out on the stuff over there. He has good topics, music, sports, and if you like shoes, that's the guy to see. So definitely go over there and check my buddy out. We all up out of here tonight. We'll see y'all next week. I hope to see you tomorrow at the game. Yeah.
No doubt. See you, man.
Peace.